Since I'm in the stage, you would think I'd have this down by now. It's absolutely staggering that I don't. Hold on. There it is. And drop it down. Yay, bonding. All right, cool. Sorry, guys. I had a bunch of stuff going on this morning. The biggest thing for me was I had a big trade in this morning. I might as well just show you. I personally think this is probably the most misunderstood call this morning out of everything that I've seen. So it presented a huge opportunity this morning. I think the call is going on now, somebody said. But you have a double beat, and they raised guidance, and they killed the stock. So it makes very little sense to me. Very, very little sense to me that what they did to it. So I got involved early. I got involved down here and just absolutely ripped. So it's actually been a really good morning, candidly. In regards to the market, let's just start there and then drill into it. But there's so much to go over. Whenever I have this kind of stuff, and it's like, let me just make sure that I got the right mic because it's been picking up the wrong mic lately. There's the camera. Nope, you got the right mic. Yay. So one of the key things that I find on days like today, you have so much going on that you have to pick, when to get involved, when not to get involved, but also like you have to pick what's worth your time, what's not worth your time. If I look at something like NQ right now, it's really hard to look at this and not see that the structure's like gotten very positive again. And that's actually really good. These levels of support that you were failing at here are flipping, and now they're becoming, or the resistances are now becoming supports. I mean, that's really good to see, and we saw that a lot yesterday. And I think we're going to continue to see that. But for us, understanding that, you probably are going to retest these highs now. I mean, to me, it seems pretty obvious. Any of the economic data that came out today was fine. There's nothing really to go over. You have a little bit of a node right there. You probably want to watch a little inflection point. Doesn't mean we're going to get through on the first time. But overall, you did hold. And I think that's really what we wanted. We wanted to hold. I didn't know that we would. It's been a long time since you broke a 22-day moving average. So whenever I see that, for me, the brakes go on. So like here, if I go here and look at the ES and take a look at this, you'll see what I mean by this. So whenever I look at something like this and I break, I got to be super careful because you don't know what's coming with this administration. Like you don't. You think you do, but you don't. Right back up to that node already. Interesting that the ES is back to that as well. And I do think you're going to challenge this now. The other interesting thing is you've kind of also broken the rising wedge because you've done some backfilling off that rising wedge. And I think that's super important as well. So you are stabilizing, and now you're getting some news that should drive up, GDP and earnings with Apple and some of the things that Apple's doing. So I think that's super important as well. The Apple news to me is pretty big. We'll get there. But if we took a look at the RSI, drop it to a 4, and look at it. So you're looking at a 4-hour chart. My concern was staying under when we rolled here, and you can see that on this bar. And then you have this bar that closes for 4 hours. The next one gap fills. You undercut here on Tuesday, try to rally, and then that's it, man. Bottoms in, and they're like, no, we're going this way, Boomer. And they just lift. And I think that's super important for us to get. So I think the 63.80 holds now. I do. Weirder things have happened, but I think you're okay now. And I think you're heading back to these highs. I'm just surprised how fast they shrugged it off. It's a good thing for the market, but if you see when you're under this period of time, I expected something like this, some chop for, not a day, but maybe a couple of weeks of going sideways, building a base. We didn't get any of that. It's down, up, halfway mark. And this is, again, if you look at these movements, it's always important to kind of, well, I think it's important to measure them. So like, let's say that's the peak of this move off the bottom, right? So if you go here and take the peak and then you drop to here, what you'll note is you stopped right on a level right in here, right? So hold on. So if I go here and I take that out and look at these levels for a second, and you'll see it. So here's your fib. There's your 50% line. You never could break it off that level. So when you rallied up, you never broke that 50% line. It'd be cleaner if I didn't have that in. And you can see that the 61.8's right there too, that you held that. So I always look at stuff like that, like, okay, we rallied up, we're rolling over, are we going to break the 50% line? I find it very helpful to look at things that way, because to me, it's just like, all right, if we get net sellers in there, then I definitely don't want to be involved. We'll clean it all off. But for now, you are back to the highs, but they tend to kind of blow this one off a little bit. And I do like the little legend here that broke up the rising wedge. On the S&P, this was super interesting to me because you're not out of the range. You have this huge iron condor going on, and it's still on. They can't get over that 63.50. Now, maybe they do today, and then it pulls it back in. But there's a huge trade on there trying to trap this thing. So we'll go from there. There's so many names to go over, guys. What I'm going to do, like there's literally so many names. What I'm going to do is just start and see where you guys are. Well, the easiest way to look to see if it was is go look at the SPY, right? And go, was the majority of this just retail? And so all you have to do to figure that out is go look at the last hour, right? And you really want to look, I'll do it this way. You really want to look from like 3 to 4 is really what you want to do. So if you go out there and say, I think it's all retail, and you go, okay, well, here's 3 o'clock, because that's when they start buying. And so there's our 3 o'clock bar, right? If you think it's all retail, and then you mark that low, right? And if you look at that low and that open from that bar, well, from the last hour on, from that open to that close, you have net buyers. So they were net buyers from 3 o'clock on. If we go and take a look at the Qs, we could do the same thing and go, well, that's the 3 o'clock bar, right? So what did you do at that 3 o'clock bar? There's your open, there's your close. You closed above it. So you had net institutional buying yesterday. It's not 100%, but it's a really easy way of you using a like back of envelope saying, do I have buyers or do I not have buyers? There's actually indicators that do last hour. And I think that's important. But I agree. It's an issue. I've been avoiding them, and I don't know that that's the right move. I have been avoiding them. I don't know that that's the right move. That's not really my kind of trade now because everybody's aware of it. The trade for me was like back in the day, we did this thing at like $4. I can always tell when the trades in the community are going to work because everyone complains that they all like whine. It's incessant. They're whining. Anyway, hold on. But you're right there, right? You go first. So if you had to buy one, you'd have to think that you'd have to do BMA because BMA is the only one over the 55, and it's still declining. So I don't know. I'm not really feeling it. Argentina's over, and that's a big deal. Maybe the Argentinian trade might make more sense. Oh, I don't think so, or they wouldn't do it. Like Apple's not doing something because it doesn't help their earnings. like Apple does not care. Like I hate to say it this way, but Apple doesn't care if it's good for the country or not. Apple cares whether or not they make money. It's really that simple. Companies are sociopaths. No matter what they want you to believe, that they care. They don't care. They have one goal: profit. That's it. They don't do things that don't make them money. Yeah, I definitely think that that's something to think about. The 30-year auction today, I would imagine it's going to go very well. Just disclosure, I have a position in shop. I don't know what I'm going to do with it. I know I'm not in a hurry to get out of it. The volume yesterday was freaking insane. The news was freaking insane when you took the time to go through it. I think the problem for me is I don't have enough left, but I'm going to give it some time today, see how it goes. But it's been a while since you had something like this, you know. And sometimes sometimes they hold, and sometimes it rolls right over. But I think that's going to hold, and the reason is because of how strong the bar is. So we'll see. I might give it a day or two and see what happens with it. I think you're going into this new leadership cycle. I mean, we're starting to see some of that stuff with like Duolingo, and some of this stuff just looks fantastic. I just couldn't get over. I was going to do these trades. I just really couldn't get over how expensive they were yesterday. I mean, they were so damn expensive, the options. But now you know why. But they crushed. No, I got you. I know where you were going with it, dude. Yeah, I don't think people get it yet, and I really don't. Like it's actually like, to me, it's so much like watching Intel. These stories, they're story stocks, and I don't know that you're going to run on a story right now. Give me 1 second, guys. Looks like Trump's got a problem with the CEO of Intel. That's not going to go well. I mean, it's very clear that they're all conflicted there anyway. They're just bleeding the company out to get their earnings, make their money. But I don't know if you should be saying things like that, but what do I know? RKLB, they're not really like, we're not expecting the crush, right? So it's all about growth, and these names could really get hit hard here. They can on earnings because people have these high expectations for them, but they don't really have it. Like, it's like watching JOBY, oh, we're down. Like, why are we down? Like, it makes no sense to be down. Oh, well, earnings. Well, I mean, what were you looking for? The estimate was $700,000. They had zero. Like, what did you think was going to happen? What I mean? Like, what did you think? Like, there's no revenue. Like, what did you think was going to happen? So I don't know. It always makes me laugh. Like, oh, there was no earnings. Well, there's no they don't do anything yet. So I don't know. It's funny. Pardon me. Yeah. Well, the thing about home builders is, it's coming, right? Like, that this is coming. You can see the structure of these names changing. And you actually can see it like back here. It started like April, May, and they all started right around the same time. Like, you can see it, right? To me, you just have to have a real long-term outlook here on those names. but they all started turning right around the same time. And you need to just have that kind of, oh no, I'm just going to buy it and sit with it kind of feel to it. And, since then, they're just going to grind higher. Eventually they'll go, eventually it will go. You will have that cycle, but you're just not there right now. Coin, I think they priced that convert, so everyone's excited about the convert price. Maybe it goes, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. I don't know that that's something to be excited about when everybody else is going to short it. So I think that you kind of have to think about it that way. I mean, like everybody's going to short that it bought the convert. So see how it plays out today. Maybe it goes, maybe it doesn't. I have no interest in being long. I still have a short position in it. Yeah, it's very rare that you get a move like this where you don't make a higher high unless you really like freaking push. And usually if you like pop out, you usually go like higher or this one hit is really super interesting because you just completely imploded. Like completely imploded. And you can see it. Like it's really rare to do that. You usually get some follow through and a couple days of it. No, one day. Good morning from Cape Cod. Good morning from Miami. Yeah, I actually, I don't see how inflation doesn't go higher. It's kind of where my issue is with it. So do they buy gold because of that? And I think they do. From a trading standpoint, I don't think you do anything with it. XLU. BCS. I don't know. I'm feeling. Yeah, I mean, all these banks are going to do exceptionally well, like Deutsche Bank. Like they're all going to just kill it. All of them are just going to absolutely slaughter it. So as soon as they paused the tariffs, I mean, that was it. They all were just outright buys. You never really had to worry about them again. Like I mean, it's on. Like it's on for the banks. Mm-hmm. Well, I personally think that he's looking at this and going, he's going to cut. Like, I mean, if he's not going to cut with no job growth, if he looks at non-farm payrolls and doesn't cut in September, I actually put out there that, I'll be like, I think there's a chance that he does it before September. And I know a lot of people don't think that, but he doesn't need a meeting. I actually think that if he saw that job growth that he would have cut. Like if you knew that they were the real numbers, and I think that's the real problem with the BLS numbers, that people aren't really taking into account. Like they really should have thought about it from that perspective, but it is what it is. You're going to have a hard time convincing me that you shouldn't cut now when you see that job growth. And it falls into really what Bullard was saying. So I do agree with that. Good morning from nowhere. Good morning from Miami. Everybody's somewhere. Yay. VST. What's up, Char? It seems like the one to buy, right? But they don't really want to be in it today, do they? I haven't gone through the call, Char. I haven't. I got absolutely slammed this morning. I got back from the gym, and then all of a sudden it was like Lily's down 100 points. And like my day just started in a whirlwind. Just a big whirlwind. But I would want to listen to what they have to say. I would want to listen to the call besides looking at this technically and really read the report. And I'd be doing you a disservice. I mean, you beat significantly and you're sitting there. It's very clear you have a seller up here. And the only thing I would say about this name is just buy it when it breaks. Something will hit and it'll break. And I think that that's when you buy this stuff. But this thing reads like an EKG chart. It's very difficult for me to buy that. That's actually really funny. HNGE. I don't know what they do. That's a huge mover. Funny how everybody got quiet. Everybody on Twitter got quiet all of a sudden about them talking about Buffett, right? You know, as they got set up. It's crazy. It's crazy how many times people fall for the same thing over and over again to me. I don't know the report. I don't know why it's up. I have no idea. I could add zero value here. You know, maybe some decent news on one of their drugs. Hims broke. You have a 50 put wall, but Hims broke, bro. Julian, that broke hard. I had a long trade in that yesterday. It was what I think that was the single greatest loss I had in a day trade yesterday. Because you shouldn't have broke. And you see that right there? And then once it did, I'm like, oh God, I'm on the wrong side of this thing, man. You do have a put wall at 50. So what I would do, I mean, it's a huge put wall. Like some of these stocks have huge put walls. Like Hims has a huge put wall at 50. Tesla has a huge one at 300. And it doesn't really seem to care about it anymore. ASTS has a huge one at 51. So like when this stuff gets under there, that's why they are ripping above it. If they ever stay under it for a period of time, it's a problem. But Hims's put wall at 50 is enormous. So it should hold 50. So really what you would do is just go, all right, well, let's see if we get down here and then maybe there's a trade. But, you know, I had a monster trade in this the other day, back in the day, but not yesterday. Sometimes you're the windshield, sometimes you're the bug. Yeah, that MP definitely got away from me because the way it trades. You could definitely go higher. You have earnings tonight. I can't imagine any of this is going to be in their earnings. So the question then begs, you know, why would I stay in it? Like, because there's no way their earnings are going to be good, right? What gets me about this was I tried this trade twice. One, this day, two, this day, and I got this, which is like, I don't know, gave me the middle finger. And I'm like, well, I'm not holding a freaking shooting star. And then it gapped up and I said, all right, well, if it pops over here, I get involved again. And then did this. I'm like, oh, for God's sake. So like, it's just, the trade did not work out trying to get into it. So I'm not in it. I think it's a monster. There's people in the community that just have slaughtered it with this name. They've been in since the 20s. You know, if you're in, you're in. Do you do anything with it now? I don't think so. I mean, I wouldn't do anything ahead of earnings. You know, what I'd probably do ahead of earnings, like today, if I was in this, I'd probably take the gap up and go to where the close is, and I'd probably buy puts against my position. Hold on. Let's do it. Let's take a look. Let's go see what those puts are. They're $2. So the 67 puts on MP are $2. So Yeah, that's super interesting. Because if they open like at $1, like let's say you're long it, right? Let's say you're long the stock and you're coming in and you're up like $4. And so you look at it and go, well, I want to stay in it for earnings. Let's say it costs you $1 or $1.25. Like that's super interesting because people have these expectations like they're going to crush earnings. They're going to talk it up, but they might even do like a secondary or something like right after. And tomorrow's Friday, so all the theta is going to be out of the option. I mean, it seems like if you were long, that would be the move, right? Wait a second. Man, there goes Lily. God, that was such an easy trade. Okay, let's keep going. Sorry, guys. I'm short. I'm short UNH. I like Argentina a lot. I really like that trade. I actually want to go down there. I don't know when though. I'm gonna have to jump, guys. I got a lot on here. You know, I don't. I keep looking at this, and this was earnings. I'm not sure you break that, dude. I'm not sure you break that. You know, but I'd say if you pull back, I like Sophie a lot. Envio's a pig. The fact that it's trading up today, I mean, I think the easiest trade on the day, candidly, like the easiest, like I always look at pair trades, right? I think the easiest pair trade in the world is like short NVO off the open and then just go long Lily. I'm already long Lily, but like if I wanted to hedge Lily, I'd probably just short NVO. Like you're up 10%. Why? Because Lily's awesome. Like it's just stupid. But they're going to squeeze them. But that's where my head would be with it. NVIDIA's got a lot of problems, Hunter, like a lot of problems. Like 60 something percent of all revenues are that drug, and they are losing to Lilly. So it's like, it's a real issue. And you want to be careful of this because people always look at them and go, well, how low can it go? Well, you're one, like, and I'm not saying there's not other drugs. I'm not saying that. I'm not saying they don't have a pipeline. But, when people always would say to me, like, well, how low can mRNA go? I'm like, I don't know. I don't know how low can they go. This was a one-hit wonder. It was literally one drug is all their revenue, the NTX. Like they had no revenue. We did this trade back in the day when they were coming out with the drug, right? Okay. And like it's one-hit wonder. So NVO is not a one-hit wonder, obviously, but all their growth is that drug. All of it is that drug. And so now you have to look at it and go, I think it was 60% of revenue, something insane. So I don't know. I don't know, man. I thought this was an excellent call. I mean, when you start listening to these calls, like I thought Google's call was excellent. I said that about Apple too that night. If you guys listen to that, when I go on one of my rants, like I couldn't figure out, like I didn't know this was coming when I bought it. I mean, let's be honest, I didn't have a clue. But he told you there were announcements coming, and they're having this new AI strategy, and they have some big announcements that are coming very, very shortly. I mean, he said it on the call, and you have a huge put wall in Apple at 200. So when I listened to Google, I was like, man, because like my thought with Google was like, oh my God, search is dead. Because even a boomer like me is, I've got like Chat GPT, Chrome extensions. I'm like all hip talking to Claude now, right? That's what all the cool kids are doing. And so I'm like, man, they're hit. And then you listen to that call and you're like, oh, I don't have a clue what I'm talking about. And this thing's trading at like 15 times earnings. Oh, okay. So that's why listening to these calls when you know what to listen for is so important. Yeah, how'd that work out? No, but that's when you buy them, when they're absolutely destroyed because they're value plays, right? Um, so ADM, I didn't do ADM. Jacob brought that up. I think he's right, but I didn't do that. Morning from Abu Dhabi. Good morning from Miami. There's a bunch of people there. Can you check on my enrollment? Yep, I can look into it. If you sent me an email, I haven't gone through email since last night. It's been a day. I don't look at email the same way as people look at email. I'm not a slave to it. But I have someone else that does look at it. But the GEV, to me, go for it, man. It's not my kind of trade now, but I get it. I've been saying that forever. It's not my kind of trade, and it's doing this. The LEU, yeah, like I can't buy that bar. I'm in this BWXT. It's going groovy, so I'm not going to do anything with it. But the VKTX, there must be news, right, Greg? I don't know what the news is, so I can't really talk about it because I saw it moving, but I don't know what the news is. PLTR is going to 200. There's no question about it. Zero thoughts on Riot. If you don't have a platform, if you need a platform, you need a platform. You need a platform that does not only pre and post, you need a platform that allows overnight now, because that's the cat's pajamas. The amount of money you can make overnight with Asia, and it's crazy. So what else we got here? Yeah, it was trying, wasn't it? But I don't know. We'll see, because I keep looking at this cores. I kept staring at it yesterday. I didn't do it though. IBKR is definitely something to look at. I was short this. I covered it, and I'm regretting it. I covered it like 78. So that red arrow is where I shorted. Once you broke, you broke. Once you start talking about like, oh, we're just going to leave guidance where it is, but we're not really going to issue new guidance. And then we're like, what do you mean you're just leaving guidance where it is? Like, you should at least update it. Like, they just said, well, there's all this uncertainty. It just scared the bejesus out of people the way he worded it, I think. I got to jump, guys. Trade to win today.